in times of crisis, in times of adversity. The best of us comes up when we are under great stress. And there are 33 miners trapped in a mine. You've seen it on the news, everybody has seen it. They were there 17 days before they discovered that they were alive. And now they have been contacted, and there is a tube that goes all the way to them, and that way they can pass water and food and whatever, but they can't take them out. And they have to, it will probably take 4 months to get them out. So by Christmas, maybe, they will pull them out, one by one. And these people have survived with incredible courage in the most horrible circumstances. And their families are camping at the mine, and they are waiting for them. And so it is in these moments, or when the earthquake happened, when you see solidarity and courage and generosity and people get together. It's very impressive.
Surely there's another courageous woman.
Right there, can you hear me? I've signed a petition that you are one of the authors of for it's a petition to the UN for a 5th World Conference for Women. Mm-hmm. And I got to the petition through Jean Boland's website. And I don't know quite why, but ever since I signed it back last fall, I check in with the signature list and the numbers of signatures every few days or maybe every week to see what the total is. And it's close to 10,000 right now. And I was wondering if you could maybe share with us what the current status is of Jean's efforts and your efforts on that initiative.
Okay, she's talking about the possibility of having a world conference for women, like the conference that we had in Beijing years ago. And the idea is to have that in 2015. Because today it would be very effective with the technology that we have. We can reach every village in the world. We can connect through cellular phones or through the internet or Skype or blogs and Facebook and everything else. So it could be very effective. And Jean Shinoda Boland, who wrote that wonderful book, Goddesses in Every Woman, and many other books, she's a very close friend of mine, and she has been behind this idea. Now the United Nations is creating an agency for women. And there are 25 names for the president of this organization. And one of them is Michelle Bachelet. I hope she's elected. She was the president of Chile. If she is elected, I think there's a very good chance that the conference will happen. Actually, I'm going to Chile now, and I'm bringing a letter from Jean for Michelle. I hope it happens. It would be wonderful.
All the men are remaining very quiet, afraid to risk. Is it your hand or your hand? Go ahead.
Hi. I'm sort of in the process of writing my first novel, and I was wondering if there was any advice you thought would be important for aspiring novelists or writers in general in terms of pursuing it as a profession.
Well, first of all, I think that one has to do what one loves the most. And if you love what you do, you probably will end up doing it well. So you have to persevere. This is like sports. You have to train. So you have to write every day. And I think that it is important to write about what one knows inside to be true. You can write fiction. Maybe the story is fictional, but it has to have a core of truth in which you believe. When I was young, I was working in a women's magazine, and the competition was publishing a love story every week. And so we were losing to the competition because of the romance story. And so I read 2 or 3 of the stories, and they were all the same. There was a formula. very easy formula. I said, oh, I can do this in 2 minutes and I can do it better. I'm still trying because I don't believe in that. Inside my heart, I know it is not true, so I can't write about it. And I would say to any writer of fiction that you can create a building of lies, but the skeleton has to be, the foundation has to be profoundly truthful to you. You have to know that it is true, and then it works. If you believe it's true, your reader will believe the same. Then I would say once you have a very good manuscript that you have corrected, don't share it with too many people. You don't want many opinions. Get a good agent.
Okay, Miss Allende, my name is Anna. I really love all your books. I really love all. But I am wondering, which book is your favorite book?
Which is my book that I like the best?
Yes.
Ooh, I don't know. The book that is most important, 2 books are important to me. The House of the Spirits, because it paved the way for all my other books. Without the success of the House of the Spirits, most probably I would have never become a writer because I had to work and make a living for my children. But the House of the Spirits was such a huge, immediate success that it made me a writer, really. And the same publishers that published that book have published all my other books. And the other book that is important for me is Paula, but that is a very personal thing. And also because it is the book that has had most impact in the readers. I get letters, messages in email and letters, hundreds every week. And I would say half of them are from people who have read Paula. To this day, that's what I get most letters from.
Hello, Ms. Allende. My name is Suresh. I'm a graduate in the Performing Arts Department at USF, and I just wanted to know if there were any works of yours, one that you have adapted for the stage, or if there were any books of yours that you mentioned you wanted to see your novels adapted to the screen, and I was just wondering if there were any novels in particular that.
Yeah, they made a play with the House of the Spirits that was in New York first, now it's in Chile, it's going to Argentina. I've seen it twice, and I think it's very good. It's different from the book, it's an adaptation. They have done musicals, ballet, opera with some of the stories, and they did a play with Paula. They have done several plays with some of the stories that they combine them in stories of Eva Luna, that they combine them in different ways, and they have created different plays. I think it's very interesting to see what other creators can do with a story that basically is not mine. I took it from somewhere. I don't feel that I own any of my work. It just came to me at that moment, and I was lucky. And I showed up in front of the computer to write it, but it doesn't belong to me. Now, the difference between musicals and all that, and theater, etc., and Hollywood, is that the movie industry has contracts that one cannot sign. They want the rights for everything, forever, for the technology that exists and it's going to be invented, for the universe and the planets to be found. I'm not kidding. And it's forever. And then also, they want the copyright of your characters. So if I write, we have just come through this with my husband for Daughter of Fortune. We had, how many years? 2 years. We've been 4 years dealing with lawyers and with the contract. And at the end, we couldn't sign it because it meant that if I signed the contract and I write another book in which I use any of the characters that I created, I have to pay them a copyright. They own it, my character. So it's like selling your children. No. Yeah, well, even with independent filmmakers, you have producers. And the contracts, you've signed them with the producers.
Hola, yo también soy chilena, me llamo Paula. I wanted to know how you feel about winning the prize, the Premio Nacional.
How I feel about winning the National Literary Award. You don't have any idea of what that is. That is an award that the government, Chile, gives every 2 years to a poet and every other 2 years to a writer of fiction. So a writer of fiction can get it every 4 years. And it is a pension for life. So writers are usually very poor, so everybody wants the award. But in the history of the award, 70 years, it has been given only to 3 women. Now me, I'm the 4th. And one of them was Gabriela Mistral, who received the prize 5 years after the Nobel Prize. So this has been held by men, and it is it's always decided behind closed doors, and women don't have a chance. So this time, it became a women's issue and very controversial because women nominated me through the internet, Facebook, all the media that didn't exist before. And so there were thousands of people signing petitions, writing letters. Everybody has an opinion today. You Twitter and you have an opinion. So everybody has an opinion. And it became a big controversy in Chile because the literati, the intellectuals, don't like my books. They say that I'm a bestseller, and a bestseller cannot be good. So why would they give me the award? Also, the award is, because it's a pension, it's usually given to someone old, who is possibly in the hospital. and so if you are not a man, and you are not old, and you are not sick, you won't get it. And this time, there was a lot of pressure, and the jury was pretty mad because of that pressure. But even the new president of Chile got involved. It became a thing in Chile. So when I got the award on Thursday, in Chile it's 3 hours, they are 3 hours ahead of us. So when the jury decided at 9 o'clock and they called us, it was very early for us. Willie was coming out of the shower when I screamed, I got it, and Willie started crying. And immediately I called my mother, and that was the last time we could make a phone call because the phone has been ringing off the hook since Thursday with journalists and people from everywhere. For Chile, this is a big thing, and I didn't know it was such a big thing until now when I got it. So I'm very happy that I got it, but I'm also very happy because it opens the way for other women. We have a voice, we can exert some pressure. It's good. When The House of the Spirits was published in 1982, it was, they said, the press said, and the critics said, that I was the only woman of the Latin American boom of literature, which were all male. And I think that because of the success of The House of the Spirits, the publishers started looking for other women writers in Latin America and publishing them in Spain and in translation in other countries. So if that happens with this award, that would be great.
Hi, my name is Julio Moreno. I'm a professor of Latin American history here at USF. And I know you mentioned your foundation is shifting focus to immigrants in the U.S. And I wanted to get your opinion on...
What?
You mentioned that your foundation is shifting focus to immigration in the U.S. And I wanted to get your thoughts and opinion on the Arizona immigration law, which is very divisive, and also your thoughts on what that divisiveness on immigration means for you as a Latina.
Well, personally, I'm very lucky because I married an American and I got the visa. But I can't recommend that to everybody. Not everybody would be so lucky. You know, we have this problem with immigrants. We have had it with, the United States has had it with every wave of immigrants in the history. When the Italians came, they were the scum of the earth. When the Jews came, when the Arabs came, every time the Irish were also all poor, illiterate. So they are scapegoats for whatever goes wrong in the society. And when the immigrants are very visible, like the Chinese were in the 1800s, or like now the Latinos are because you can see them in the crowd, then they become the scapegoats and they have a very hard time. But eventually they do integrate. And I think that it will be completely impossible to deport 12 million people. That's unimaginable. So maybe what needs to be done is find agreements with other countries, for example, with Mexico, countries in Central America, so that workers can come to work temporarily with proper documents and with all the rights and with a decent salary. Nobody wants to leave behind their family, their language, their land. They come because jobs are offered here and they don't have them in the country, or because they are escaping from violence and extreme poverty. So we need to find these agreements that would benefit the employers here and the workers. We always blame the workers, never the capital.
Hello. You talked earlier about having to overcome anger and hate in your life and move on past that. And I know that when I first read House of Spirits, that was something that really moved me about the book. I thought was the most powerful kind of concept you could see in it, was this idea of overcoming absolutely outrageous sort of anger. And I was wondering if you had any thoughts about that concerning the U.S. in right now, how the U.S. exists right now. It seems like there's a lot of anger about a lot of different things and a lot of hate about if you pick any issue in politics right now.
Yeah, the country is polarized, as Chile was, and Chile still is in many ways. Divided. You don't want to hear the other side. And in Chile, you were with the dictatorship or against the dictatorship. There was nothing in between. And families were broken for generations. Still today, there are families in which members of the family don't talk to each other because of something that happened 35 years ago. So politics can really divide a country brutally. And in the United States, at this point, it's been fueled by the press and by the political parties. There is a subliminal hatred of Obama, and I think it's a racist thing. There is an element of racism here that I find appalling.
Well, on that note, I have to say a few things. One is we can't sit here forever. Some of you are already squeezing towards the door. We want to thank again the World Affairs Council of Northern California, the USF Graduate Program International Relations, and all the Latino organizations on campus who co-sponsored. We have many programs coming up. We end with a Sharon Stone, which will be an ending to all endings.
Are you interviewing her?
Yes. Can you believe that?
You need Viagra.
We also have some marvelous programs. We'll have a Taiwan Film Festival coming up that isn't listed outside yet. We also have a wonderful film from a Chinese documentary woman, Felicia Lowe, who understands all there is to know about Angel Island, which is the Ellis Island of the West Coast, which has had a remake recently. We'll see her 60-minute documentary. You would be surprised the things we have coming up. So we want you all to come. And the way to get you to come, if you're not on our email list, there's a fishbowl outside. If you put your email in there, you will get emails from us for the rest of your life. And we'd love to have you as a member of the Center of the Pacific Rim that way. So please think about that. Now we have a unique problem. The building is full tonight, and this building in this room will be used again. We're going to break now before they get here and not let them drink any of our wine. But the wine is for you with the cheese and the fruit. And Isabel will stay long enough to sign books. Please do not get in line to sign your book and then spend 20 minutes in a conversation with Isabel, because everyone wants their book signed. If you don't have a book and you want a book, the bookstore is here with all of her books, so you can buy one and get it signed all in one evening. So I would like you to join me in thanking one of the wonders of the modern world.